Hello and welcome to another episode of Raise the Bar. I'm your host, Troy Haines, here on the Sky High and Fly Jump Lab podcast. We talk high jump, long jump, triple jump, pole vault, mostly high jump because I was a high jumper, but I have coached those other events, and we often get both athletes and coaches from those events here on Raise the Bar. Today, I am looking this week, especially and always for high jumpers. This is, as you may know, the week of the U.S. Olympic trials. And we've had several athletes here on the podcast that are competing at this particular one. John Tavius Hill will be going there and competing. We're anxious to see how he does. Had a great podcast with Don Tavius the other day. I need to get that one produced and out before Thursday. Today is Tuesday, June 25th. So we are warming our way up there. But I had the opportunity today to talk with Jacob Carruthers. He's from Georgia, and he is a kind of a newbie to track and field, but an interesting case of that. He just started last year and won a state title in the high jump, I believe, and then turned around this year and won 3 state titles in the state of Georgia, the high jump, the 200, and the 400. He wasn't able to qualify in the 100 through some crazy wind that he had going against him. But you will get to hear and see some of Jacob in action here. We've got videos of his to go through and to both competition and training. He's going to be joined by his father, Jason, who also was a jumper basketball player. And you'll get to hear them both here in just a minute. So stay tuned here on Raise the Bar as we talk to Jacob Carruthers. How old are you, Jacob, and where are you jumping at, and what's going on?
I'm 18 and I signed with the University of Georgia and I'll be there in the fall.
Awesome. Okay, so okay, we talked right before the end of the season. You were having the awesome end of the season where you're in tons of things. So how did the state finals go? This was your senior year, and you were in multiple events from what I remember. How did it all go?
So I was in 4 events in the
And you were
in
like top ranked in
states.
all of them. Yeah, awesome.
And so the first event was high jump and came in. It was funny. It was we were on a tornado watch while I was high jumping. So
Mhm.
everything, it was all soaking wet and whatnot. And it didn't, I mean, it was all right. It wasn't what I was hoping for, but I still came away with a win, and I couldn't ask for anything more than that. So,
What was the height, and how to tell one thing the listeners are probably interested in? I know you've got fans out there for sure. And how do you jump, well? That's one thing I had to learn, how to jump on wet surfaces. What did it do to you when you were trying to jump high? How did it affect you?
so funnily enough, I'm not very great at jumping in those kind of weather conditions in the wet or whatnot, because my whole first season, I jumped in cross country spikes with these tiny, tiny little spikes. So I would slip.
Hmm.
So I never practiced, or I wouldn't even jump if it was raining
Right.
or wet. So now for the state meet, I put longer spikes in, and I even put some spikes on my right side that I don't normally put, some longer ones.
Hmm.
And it helped for sure, but it still felt a little weird, definitely, jumping in those kind of conditions.
Well, my experience was, what you find out from high school to college is kind of big. Like I was a 210 jumper in high school, and I had a really wide curve. Like I ran 20 feet wide and 60 feet back. So, and I didn't know any different. My coach wasn't like a high jump guru, but we had here in California in Millikan High School, which is in the South, Southern California, we had 5 years in a row at Millikan High School of somebody jumping 6'8" or better. And 4 of those years were 6'10", and they were 4 different guys in those 5 years. So I don't know what my coach knew other than what he did with us, which was a lot of short approach work. And then we used to jump up and down the bleachers, on one leg, and I was a double armor. So I I would do a lot of single leg, plyos up and down the bleachers, and that seemed to work, but I didn't understand curves at all. I mean, I did whatever anybody else was doing, but there was nobody saying, "Hey, how come you're out there at 20?" Like I didn't know. So, when I got to UCLA at first, the two guys that I was training with, Dell and Lee, Lee Balkin was a 7'3" jumper just in high school, and Dell Davis jumped 7'7" back in 1982 at the D1, NC2A finals up at Provo, Utah, high altitude, but jumped 7'7" there, jumped 7'6" another time. Number one on the all-time list. So I got to train with two of the greats, and they looked at my approach and were like, "Dude, what are you doing out there?" And I'm just like, "I don't know. You tell me." So they crunched me down to about 14 feet, which was still relatively wide for some. I'm 6'3", but I don't know. Now my experimental mind wonders what it would have been like, because I'm playing around with people's widths of their curves all the time, and their foot plant angle and other stuff. So anyway, to make a long story short, I didn't understand that to get higher up in the air, I was just more of a leaper. I didn't really use curve mechanics to get any air. So that big hard lean to the left for me that catapults you up in the air, that was a slow to learn skill for me. I was always more of a power jump guy. And like yourself, if it was wet, I would be kind of tippy toeing around the curve, trying to make sure I wasn't going to slip, and when you start to utilize your speed a little bit, that can be, problematic. So what'd you end up jumping to win? What was the winning height?
Winning height was 6'8", and then I went straight to 7 after that, and I had two that were close, and then one that was not even close. But
Yeah, there's nothing to be ashamed of there in rainy conditions. That sounds like the smartest thing you could have done. Take extra jumps out of there and, go for it. So, all right, you got yourself a win in the high jump. What else?
after that was the 100-meter prelim, and we were still in a tornado watch, and I ran. It was into a headwind. It was like -4,
Hmm.
and only the two auto qualifiers qualified for my heat. So the next heat that ran, it was like swirling or something, and we went and checked on the mile split live results. They had a tailwind of plus 2.5.
Yeah.
So everyone from that one qualified, and my seat time would have placed me probably like second or third in the final.
Hmm. So
So
no go for the final.
no go for the final in the 100-meter.
Oh,
So then the prelim came for the 400 not long after that, and that was pretty comfortable. It was a comfortable jog. It was like 49.7 something.
hmm.
And then the 200 was right after that as well, about an hour after. And I won the prelim in that one as well, running, it was like 22.3,
Right.
not like super hard on the gas or anything. Then, of course, that night, rehabbing. I always, I'm not a huge like ice bath kind of guy. I
Mhm.
usually do heat. And so I did all that stuff, rolled out, massaged, and then came back the next day. And my first event was the 400. And let's see, what did I ran 48 in the 400 to win. And as I crossed the line, I fell and like dove and rolled across the line.
Yeah. Did you
And
have to do that, or were you stumbling, or were you like diving to beat somebody at the?
no, so in the high jump, I on the bad 7-foot jump, I tweaked my back a little bit, landing on the bar.
Mhm.
And so in that 400, it started tightening up real bad and it cramped up a little bit. And so I just fell. But I did not want to run the 200, so I had to go get some like a lidocaine patch,
Mhm.
stick that on my back, and went out in the 200. And the first 100 of the 200, I was in last place.
Yeah.
And then I'd say about the 150 mark, I started passing everybody and then ran 21.9 in the 200
Nice.
after all those other events and won athlete of the meet.
Three-time state champ in the same meet, athlete of the meet, and then was the 100 like one of your featured events? The one.
No, that was just like the for fun event. I'm not very good at starting.
Mhm.
So that was just like the icing on the cake if I would have gotten that one.
So
Any
I,
favorite?
I don't know how much Jacob's told you about him. We've been doing track a total of right at 12 months.
Mhm.
And so he won state last year, then again this year 3 times in different events. And
Yeah,
our school is a newer school, so we don't have a track to practice at.
right,
So for him to accomplish what he's accomplished, jumping officially 6'10 1/4", 7'1" in practice, running, and then this year he ran a sub-11, a sub-22, and a sub-49 in the 3 respective races. I
right,
think he was the only one in the country to run those times and jump over 6'10"
right.
uh, in any state or division. So to do that in less than 12 months was an accomplishment.
Sometimes
Absolutely. Yeah.
maybe.
I mean, any time, but especially in that short of a window.
Yeah.
What was your background coming into your track career? Did you do, soccer, baseball, football, anything else?
So I played a lot of basketball, and since my school, they originally said they were going to offer track and field and basketball and these other sports, and then didn't. I played soccer a
Hmm.
good bit as well, for two, 3 years. I played soccer for 3 years and basketball like my whole life because he played Division 1 and then for a little basketball for a little bit. So he always could jump and whatnot, and he was showing me how to jump when I was like 9, trying to dunk a basketball, and
Right.
I ended up getting my first dunk at 13 because I was not trying to get shown up by him. He did his first dunk at 13,
Awesome.
so he was training me to jump since I was little, I guess, but not for high jump, just to jump for basketball.
Yeah. It's funny you say train to jump. I just had a first session today, and I apologize to you guys because I just lost track of time. I had a bunch of newbies out at a summer camp, and so many of them just like, hey, get your arms up. Like I cannot get over it. Just I know I'm too much of an old curmudgeon coach, but I'm like, I don't understand anybody that drives their arms up like this, bent elbow, hands don't get above their head, and then they're trying to throw their heads back and arch. And I'm like, okay, look, first of all, learn how to use your arms, So then I got to go into a brief dissertation on different arm styles. Are you going to be a double arm power? Are you going to be single arm off the ground? You're going to be a mix? And they're looking at me like, what? They don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm just like, okay, you somehow when you get to the bar, if we can get you in the right spot, now you got to use your arm, your knee drive. Don't worry about laying out. I've always got kids come up to me and they go, Coach, my form sucks. I'm like, I'm always saying, well, which part of your form? Because there's lots of parts that can suck, but I know that they're talking about their layout position. And lots of times the layout position is fine. They're just trying to do that before they do anything else. So I'm sure as you found out, need to wait a little bit longer for your
Oh yeah.
layout every time the bar goes up, right? So it's a learning curve for sure. So with you being one of the hottest recruits in the nation, I would have to guess, um, how did you end up making the pick to go to Georgia? Did you go anywhere else? Was there lots of suitors?
So I could have gone to a couple other places out of state, some IVs and other Division 1 Power 5 schools. But I knew that I wanted to stay in Georgia, and there's only like real two big choices at that point, Kennesaw and UGA
Hmm.
and Tech. But I had gone to Tech and I did not like the campus a whole lot. So
Yeah,
that one was out for me. I liked Kennesaw, their campus and whatnot, but the facilities that UGA has compared to Kennesaw, it's not even close.
yeah, yeah. I could
So
imagine. Well, it's like anything else right now. The SEC money is just silly,
it's
right?
crazy.
You're running football and basketball are way up at the top. And then, before you even get to the quote unquote lower echelon sports, let's say baseball and anything else. But even the track and field has to be getting some of what I would call
Yeah.
what a filter down effect or whatever, right? Because you get that much money coming into these schools, and now it's just going to get more. College football is more and more popular along with pro. So they're going to get more money for these big bowl games, and now they're going to the playoffs, right? So they're going to get more money coming into the school. And like we all know, if you have a power, football and or
Oh,
basketball,
yeah.
you've got some income that can drift down and keep the other sports in, or even, you know, bump them up.
especially with the championships that they've won.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The SEC is just loaded for everything, football, basketball, track. I keep telling everybody, when they take a second to listen that, when I was growing up, Bo Jackson goes to Auburn, he does everything. He's a sprinter. I still remember his rookie year, him running all the way through the end zone and out the back of the end zone. And the announcers would go, "There goes Bo," and I'm like, and I told my kids, I go, "Watch, see him cycling." I go, "He's cycling all the way out of the end zone and he's not shoving on the brakes, because that's not good for your legs." So I'm like, you can learn lessons all the time, guys. And then, Herschel Walker, um, Roger Craig, my beloved 49ers fullback, was a hurdler at Nebraska. You've got all these guys that, have this heritage of track and field, backgrounds and these other sports. But it's like, yeah, it's silly. I would have said, I'm sure if Georgia was in line, there had to be some other ones, LSU, Arkansas knocking on your door, those SEC power, you know, I would think Texas Tech would have been in there, or Texas, any of the other SEC schools. Texas is just about ready to become an SEC school now, right? Texas and Oklahoma. So yeah, it must have been fun. You could is anybody trying to offer you any big NIL contracts?
Not as of now. I've been waiting until I got enrolled to kind of reach out to get some of those type of things done
Mhm.
with our NIL team that we have there.
Yeah. Well, it's nice because, it depends on your sport and depends on your visibility and everything else. You've got now you've gone from 12 months ago not knowing anything, and all of a sudden now you're 2 years in a row, you've won state meets and everything else, and you're a hot commodity. So it's almost like, you could almost think, I need to hire someone to do the promotional stuff. Like, okay, let's get on Instagram, let's do this, let's do that. So you've got that going for you. And the other thing with that is, performance will always win out. So, you keep doing what you're doing at this high level and you keep increasing, what's going on, then everybody just will see it. It's like I get these people all the time. They're like, can you help promote us and everything? And I do. I love promoting people, as you know. I'm gonna be like, hey, here's this, here's Jacob doing what he did, and here's the videos, and on and on. And then it's like, but at the same time, sometimes you get those kids that are, yeah, they're not really that good, and they're like, we want to go to this kind of school or this or whatever. What do you recommend we do? And I lots of times in my head, I'm like, well, jump 6 or 8 inches higher would be nice, and those kinds of things. So the first part is, when do you get seen? The big meets. What did you do at the big meets? Oh, I won 3 state championships. Just, it's just a little thing. It'll get noticed, and then you come in and you get to rock and roll at the University of Georgia. No small pressure there, but you like the facilities. You saw the weight room, you saw the track, everything's good.
Yeah, they have some really nice facilities. And as of my sophomore year, we're getting a new outdoor facility.
Mm-hmm.
And
Nice.
then my junior, senior year, we're scheduled to get an indoor facility, the first in Georgia.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't hurt that the national championships ran through there just a couple of years back, right? A lot of
Yeah. And our athletic director is actually very, very fond of track. His son competes in track and field events all through the summer, school and everything. So he really loves track and he's at a lot of our meets and everything. So it
great.
helps that the athletic director
It's
loves
huge.
track. Yeah.
Huge. Absolutely. Yeah. Um, yeah, I can't say the same about my alma mater for a while now, but I'm hoping that it's on the upswing. Um, so let's go the other direction. Did you, and in this point, this is why I can edit later. Did you manage to send me any of your videos? Because I would love to go through some of your stuff with you and talk about it. Is it
I sent you a album. I don't know if you were able to access it through Google Photos, and it has a whole lot of clips and stuff of jumps and
right?
training and everything in there.
Okay, let me see. I'm looking back. Would it link to it from Instagram or did you send it to me
It
another way?
should, it should.
Okay, let me try. Geesh. I don't want vanish mode. I want what? Thank you. Oh, this is silly. Let's try it from over here. All right. Got a great list of stuff from you. One of the heights or weights. Let me know. Jump specialist, 133 items. Wow. All right.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff in there.
Yes. Okay, so I'm just going to continue on the web. There we go. As I'm going through here, if there's 133 things, should I go first? Should I start at the top, or is there somewhere you would
Let's see.
direct me to?
I'm gonna pull this up right quick, and I will let
Do
you
it
know.
from your end too, if you wanted to. I don't have any problem going either way. I can run it back, or you can send.
Okay, so we can start from the top if you'd like.
Okay.
The
I
top should be in chronological order of my first event through everything else.
So you'll probably notice when you watch these, we didn't plan on doing a high jump until literally the week before we did high jump last year at his first meet. And so didn't know how to flop. So he scissored the bar for his first three meets and won all three, scissoring between 6'2" and 6'4",
Nice.
the first three meets.
Yeah, scissors, I could do it, but it wasn't my thing. I don't think I was fast enough or flexible enough. I could jump, but I don't know why. I didn't mind the scissors. I've actually come to enjoy them more as I've gotten older, just as far as, oh, here's Dontavius. Okay, you got to put that back. All right, I tried to send yours to me on my thing, but it's still spinning its wheels. I don't know why.
Is Dontavius at the bottom?
Yeah, I had Dontavius down here. I just
I put
closed.
Dontavius in?
Might have put some of the training.
Huh.
I did train with Dontavius Hill once. I just didn't know if that was in here or not.
Yeah, I'm still not seeing. I sent it to my I airmailed it to my computer so I could just open it, and it's just kind of spinning around. So let me double check here.
Do you have an email address you want us to shoot that link to, and you can just click on it?
Yeah, try that too. It's skyhighandfly@gmail.com. Okay. Oh, I got it. I think I got it. I
Okay.
tried it a second time and it came up. All right, so I'm going to share screen with you, and then we'll see what we can do with this.
Sounds
So,
great.
there. Am I sharing? Yeah, yeah. Share. Ah,
There we go.
there we go. Now we're talking. All right. Where's the directions? Oh, there we go. Okay, boom. And can scan back. I don't know if I can go frame by frame though. Okay. And we might just have to let it roll through. All right. So this was early in your career.
This was my very first high jump meet I had ever done.
Wow. Yeah. So just cruising into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, cruising into a 5-step. And there we go. Amazing. So, and then you've got all this speed, which doesn't hurt because you're explosive. So, and I can't tell if you're all right, let's move. To me, I always think of it as a drill. So I know this isn't what you ended up jumping up your best stuff with. So I see
Oh
great.
yeah, that was my very first meet, and that was 6'2".
Right. Well, the thing I really like is reach back with both arms, drive them up. And I mean, to jump high with a scissor, you really got to do a lot of things well. You got to have great arm drive, you got to have good knee drive, you got to leave that knee up because you're not going to try to pop your hip or do anything like that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, let me drop back out of that one and see if we are. Where is this? Who's being followed? What is going on? Okay, the other one. Let's stop share for a second. I was on Instagram before when I had your thing. Okay, here we go. And messages, Jacob. Okay, we're back. Got this. View album. Ooh, loading the whole album. Okay, what else do we got on here that's good? Something that's a non-scissor. How's this one? The Are these scissors? This one still?
Which ones?
Then the very next one over, because I got your first one here in the upper left, and then cursor's over here on this one. Is this
The
a
first two were scissors at 6'2", and
okay?
then
Okay.
check.
Yeah, let's try that out. So this is one of your
Six.
first. Only thing I'm missing out of this is I can't really go frame to frame.
There, if you
Okay.
click on the bottom right, that little gear, you can slow the playback speed down.
Let's try that. Now we get the sounds.
And you can mute it on the bottom left. You can hit the little speaker and mute it as well.
All right. I kind of like that. It's like a science fiction movie. Okay. Great lean. All right. Bam. And that's even coming out a little early. All right. So this is early in the career. This is last year. How high was this?
Are you screen sharing?
Looks like we were at, hold on one second. Did I go mute? Oh, there we go.
Are you screen sharing the
No,
jumps?
no. Let's go back. We'll look at it again.
There we go.
Hold, please. All right.
Okay.
Where did you say the meeting? Oh, down here. We'll do that. Okay. That way we can still hear each other, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
This is 6'6".
6'6". Okay. And I still can't get, I did manage to hit a lucky freeze frame there. So you're coming up pretty much through vertical here. It looks like, bam, early, what I would call an early hip pop. So man, if you did that and you punched your hips that early into your knee ride and still managed to get over 6'6", as your coach, I'd be like, oh my gosh.
So that was the first time he did 6'6".
That was also the first time I had ever tried to flop.
And the first time that he flopped at a meet.
Wow. Yeah, arms are all over the place. This is amazing. So yeah, I just be looking at that going, wow, this is, like a rough cut diamond already jumping 6'6". And I always tell my kids, I go, hey, the good news is, you're jumping this high and there's still stuff we can fix, like things that we can
At
get.
this time, I still had no real approach or marks or anything. I didn't get any marks or anything until my second year jumping or second season jumping.
Right.
So if about 6 videos over was Adidas Nationals when
This
he
is
won
regionals.
Similar jump. Yeah, this is
also
super
6'6".
wide, easy curve. Yeah.
Yeah, all of these were in the first 2 to 3 months of jumping.
Yeah. Nice.
This was a scissor kick. This was just.
Okay. Yep. It doesn't hurt to have speed and power. And your dad was teaching you how to dunk when you were really tiny. Yeah. That's
The next one should be the first time I won state. Yep. This is the first time I won state. That is 6'8".
That was 6'8", yeah.
The thing I like about this is how far out you are at takeoff. Because that is huge. This is a point, you can see where your heel strike's going to be here. I mean, your head is a mile away from here. So that to me is huge. I'm constantly, it seems like I've been getting a string the last couple years of what I would call bar crowders, basically. They're bar crowders. So they're right on top of the bar and they start their knee drive. And so the hands get short and quick. The knee comes up really fast. And even if it does come across, they got to pop their hip immediately and throw their head back because they don't have any time to do anything else. Right. And I was like, it drives me insane. So, and then when I try to move them out, if they've been doing it for a long time, it's really hard to move people farther away because it's like they're used to it, and they feel like they're too far out, even though you can show them, you go, look, here's 20 other people like yourself. Just watch how easy it is for these guys to, they've got a while before they got to deal with the bar, you're dealing with it immediately. So like there, you could let your knee drive go up, you can start to fall over, and then you can kind of raise your hips a little bit if you need to. Your eyes are open. You can see exactly what you're doing. Your head's not thrown back immediately, right? You're still riding your way up to the peak of your jump.
I'm not sure if I threw my head back at all at this time.
You can see your eyes are open and you're looking and you're nowhere near your head is still a foot and a half away from the what I call the vertical plane of the high jump bar, which is just fantastic because in there now you've got maneuverability. So it wasn't until you'd already been in the air for a while that this arm is over. I've got people that have that arm over the bar when they're still on the ground. You're like, you can't start laying out when you're in the middle of your takeoff. It's just
Yeah.
it's not gonna
You got
work.
to go vertical before you go horizontal.
Thank you. Yeah. And realistically, if you look at it, as here comes Jacob here, and he's already leaning, like this is the second step away. So I always show people even a step farther back, you can see sometimes a step farther back on the other leg. Let's see. You can't see it on this angle. But a lot of times, on their second to last step, say with your left foot, you'll see a really nice lean away position. And then they'll come out of that, right? And the next two steps, they start leaning towards the bar. I'm like, no, no, no. Wherever you are two steps away, that should get even better on your last one. You want to drop even more into the curve, so drop that inside leg across. And so you can see that setting up here real nicely. There goes that leg inside there. Looks like we got some good cycling. Are you a foot scraper? I can't tell.
I get real close, but it never actually hits.
Yeah. I mean, and here you're still, this isn't like a huge layout. Like you're just kind of, you're flying up. I see this as knee ride, and your attack speed here is still, I'm guessing now, knowing that you're a sub 1100 guy, that this is like a jog for you. You just kind of
Yeah.
cruising up there, but the knee drive's amazing, and you're, like I said, you're not even milking the layout here. Okay, let's try.
The
Here's
next are sprints.
nice. Nothing wrong with sprints. Are you guys going to make a trip and go see the trials? Or are you going to stay home and watch?
We're gonna stay home and watch.
We went to U20s, and so we were there just a couple of weeks ago.
Mhm.
And so we'll watch the trials online and on TV.
Did you have any thoughts about doing the under 18s or anything, or is that too much in the same year?
Yeah, with coming up to UGA and all the stuff that they've got planned for him there, it was a lot to try to
Yeah.
do too much in the summer.
Is it under 20s on the list of possibles within the next 2 years?
So he did U20s this year,
Uh-huh.
but you had guys there that were their
20.
first year in college, and they like, so you had Tito, who plays top four in NCAAs. You had the guy from Oklahoma who plays six. You had Scotty Vines from Colorado who was there, and all of these guys are jumping 7.3, 7.4.
Yep.
So it was a tough field this year.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So this was a couple of weeks after state. This was Adidas Nationals.
This was
Okay.
not.
That wasn't.
No. This is when I was at Tech jumping.
Oh, at Tech, yeah, Georgia Tech.
Okay. Boy, it just looks so easy. Everything looks easy. Just the thing I really like here is what I tell a lot of my jumpers here. You'll see that I'll notice this spot here. Right here, you're still running. And then there's a real quick, what I call the quick flash gather, or just a real quick get your hands together. But it's invariably, I don't know why, again today, I showed it to the first time to some kids that weren't getting their arms ready. I said, look, get your hands together and then reach back. You're a double armor. Let's get them ready, right? And as soon as I show them putting my hands together here, of course, they put their hands up over their head as they're running along. All of a sudden, their hands go over their head, and then they're trying to get their arms all the way back and drive them again. I'm like, no, no, no. Gather small, reach big. Like I want you to reach back more than I want you to reach your hands up, as you're getting ready to jump. That's just, it's kind of, but they don't know. They're just starting. But there's the gather. I can see you gathering there. You got 2 steps to swing your arms back, which is what I always liked about this. You see both arms reaching back. I tell kids, reach back like you're getting the baton with both hands, and then power up, which you've got going. So, and there's the knee drive. Look at that. You can see that knee still up, and you're just kind of laying back. So you're in what I call the flying L there, and still jumping over 6.6, 6.8. Did it stay like this? This is early in your first year, right? So I'm interested to see how we transition into the next.
So this is the first time he jumped 6'10" on that one there.
There you go.
That was AAU. If you go over one.
Uh-huh.
It was
This is
AAU
6'10".
regional championships. He jumped 6'10" there, fairly easy.
Nice. You rode that out beautifully. All right. Fat flash gather, great knee drive. So how tall are you, Jacob?
I'm about 6'4", 6'5" ish now.
Okay. And uh how much do you weigh at that height?
185.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, I was 6'3", 195 after a year of eating dorm food and being in the weight room, and I was that extra 15 pounds cost me for a while. So beware of the I'm sure your dad's told you some of those. Yeah, you had nothing but
Yeah.
that. That just looked like a little 3-step or a 5-step. But you can see how high the bar is. Awesome. All right, where is this one?
This is in Des Moines, Iowa, at Drake University. This was the
Okay.
Junior Olympics.
Nice.
And the height, it was, I really don't remember the height.
6'6", maybe. You're 6'5", so if it's a
Yeah.
little bit over your head, it looks like 6'6". Yeah.
I think it was 6'6 3/4", or it was something like that.
2 years. Yeah. So you're just I hated the wet, but you were dealing with it there too. So all
Yeah,
right.
it wasn't a great day, but
All right. Here we got some deadlifting. Excellent. I will still do a post of all this stuff if you guys don't mind. If you want me to do a reels, you gave me so much
that'd be
stuff.
great.
It'll be great. Yeah. So we got some nice explosive quarter squats. Got some sprints. Nice track. This is your home track here.
No, our school does not have a track, so
Oh, you said that. Right.
this is a high school nearest's track.
Okay. Well, as long as there's one in the district, right? Then
Oh
you
yeah.
you have the league finals there and all that. Yeah. Mm. All right. Leg extensions, another staple for stability. There we go with the hold and the single leg. All right. I know exactly what that is. Put these in there for my jumpers all the time. Very good. Do you hold more than one position there, or do you just always hold your leg extended all the way out?
I usually only hold it all the way extended out, and then I will do reps like this after.
Yeah. Well, the leg, hold it all the way out. The closer your leg is to full extension is really the strongest the knee is. So within
Hmm.
those last 5 degrees, there's actually when it extends, it actually kind of has a little sliding twist lock that it'll actually, which is why it's so dangerous to get hit when your leg is straight because it's
Yeah.
it's really stable that way, but it still doesn't like getting hit from the side. But for joint stability, that's outrageous. There we go. All right, some plyometric boxes. We got drop jumps, depth jumps without just the drop and catch, but also an explosive up jump. All right. Was there anything more in there? Did you guys have
No, that was all in that plyo video.
things there? All right. And here we got some more sprinting. Did anybody ever try to get you to do a long jump, Jacob, with all that speed?
I did long jump one time, and I jumped. It was like 21:11.5, or maybe it was 22:11. It was around that area. The run up wasn't great. I stutter stepped most of the way, and then never really tried it after that because I didn't have long jump spikes or anything, and I was jumping in cross country spikes,
Mhm.
and I bruised my heel, and so I stopped long jumped after I bruised my heel. I haven't long jumped since.
Interesting. It's I'm sure that would have been a good event for you too. You don't look 6'5". Does that sound weird? You don't, I mean,
Oh yeah.
when you see someone who's 6'5", you're like, oh my God, this guy's real, tall and lanky, but Usain Bolt was 6'5". So you're a tall, fast sprinter. You don't, a lot of times 6'5" and 6'6" in high school is still kind of gangly, right? You don't have that look to you. You're quick, you've got you look like you can change direction, stuff like that. I guess it's kind of going against it now. For a long time, I remember 6'5" and 6 kind of looking like that. But now I know there's a couple tennis players. One guy I like watching, Medvedev. Um, who's the other guy? I think Medvedev is like 6'6", and he covers court like nobody's business, and his arms are super long, and you can't get anything over him and by him, and he's quick. He plays all the way at the back wall, and it's hard for you to hit a drop shot on him. He's so fast. So
We're a very competitive family, so we play just about any sport. So I
mhm.
think that helped him a lot to develop different aspects of athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started going to the gym with us and working out when you were what, probably 10, 12?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Nice.
stick you in my reel. This 100 meters right here. I show my jumpers, all the time. The top guys, Bondarenko, Barshim, Derek Druin, whoever it is coming by. But if you watch, it's your right spots. It's hard to stop with this right on it, but I hope I hit a spot. I was noticing that your knees are almost always parallel to your hips. Your your feet are kicking you in the butt, and you're tall. You're staying up in that upright posture. And I'm like, especially for the high jump, it's a little different than sprints because you do have to lean forward a little bit in sprints and get going. But for the most part, I'm like, I just want you up tall, pick your knees and your feet up. And when I see you run by and cycling like that, I'm like, oh, this is excellent. That'll go on my how-to reel. All right, what do we got here?
This was, I think he got, oh, these are some float fly floats.
Okay,
So that was to fly the first 30 meters, float the next 30, and then fly the last 30.
I like those. Okay. I see the short get out, and then once you're out, you're up tall, and we're cycling. Awesome. Some more of that. Is there any more high jump? We got lit.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
high jump in here.
Okay, let's keep do the fast. I do love this though. I will go back through it and look at it and show off
Oh
the
yeah,
best.
there's a lot of
And
stuff in
if
here.
you need to, you can download them from the album. And then if you've got software in your computer, you can go frame by frame and things like that.
Yeah, I've got that. And I don't know why it's not doing it here, but yeah, I think it's because we just opened it without me
Yeah.
downloading it all the way. But I love these.
The height on the box should be 42 inches, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. And then the drop down is what, like a 2 foot drop down?
Yeah, 24.
Okay, nice. I like that. Do you do those with single legs also?
I do.
Yeah, I like that, but you can't do the single before you do the double, right? You gotta
Hmm.
start up with two before you go to one. That's my standard rule. We got leg press, we got some push-ups, hang cleans.
Yep.
Nice. You ever think about doing split catches on your hang cleans?
I've never tried a split catch.
Split catch is just front and back. So it's more, I picture it as more like, a runner would and less of a
Oh,
lifter,
I've
because
done it by accident before, but never on purpose.
yeah. All right, and more. I love these. I love, snatch with a little bit less weight. I like jump squats off two and one leg, real quick, explosive.
The
Always
first video was 265, the second one was 255, and this is just 135.
nice. Another scissor. Oops. A little twitchy there. Okay. Okay. This is only a six.
These were probably some of my best jumps of the season. That one was six. Let me see here. I think that one was 6'8".
Yeah, that's the other thing. I know it's some of those earlier bars. I was thinking they were lower, but I didn't know you were 6'5" until I asked you. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
it really does. It's relative. I have if you ever are curious, you guys want to go back and listen to some of the other podcasts. I did get another hopeful Olympian this year, Fabian Delrid from Sweden. He's 6'9", and
Whoa, wow.
he's jumped
I watched him the other day.
234.
Probably, yeah.
234 is what, 7'7" 3/4" or 7'8"? He's jumped like
Yeah.
he's jumped 233, and he's got a big foot scrape, and I mean he's just a big rangy dude. Like you get all his stuff that he sent me when he's in the weight room, like, geez, this guy just looks like a beast, and
Yeah.
he's a power guy. His early career stuff, when he showed me, he was a single armor running off the ground, and then he just kept growing, and he ended up switching to a double, and he scrapes his foot like crazy. I saw him scrape his foot and make the 7'7" 3/4. So I'm like, wow. But he's just
My foot goes real close to scraping.
Mhm. It's tough. I used to think, and this has happened to me a couple times the last few years, where I've said, hey, if you scrape your foot, you can only jump. I think I can only see somebody jumping 7'3" or 7'4". And famous last words. Now all I've done is eat those words for the last 2 or 3 years. For long, I wasn't paying any attention because I was dealing with just high schoolers, and then I started watching videos. And somebody sent me, after making that statement and I went to Mount Sac 2 years ago and I saw a guy from Texas Tech. I can't remember his name right now, but he jumped like 7.5 and a half. And then the USC guy jumped 7.6. Seals or Sears, I think Sears. And the 7.6 guy was a high cycler, real fast. So he cycled right up into his takeoff, beautiful. And the other guy was just slow down and, dragged his foot, but he jumped 5.25. And I'm like, well, I got to eat that word now. And then somebody sent me a text and they said, hey, just so you know, Sotomayor and Charles Austin both dragged their feet at 8 feet. And at, Charles Austin jumped 7.10 and a half, broke the American record and the Olympic record, at the time. And when I watched it again, it's like, scraped his foot and jumped 7.10 and a half. So I'm like, all right, I got to get rid of that out of my brain because that's not a rule. There's some people that for sure I'm like, we got to stop scraping your feet because they don't cycle at all, right? They don't cycle anywhere as they're coming up. Some guys do it just right at the end as they go for the move. So it's like, if you can do it fast, I'm kind of changing my mind on that. Like I've just recently changed my mind on the whole foot plant angle thing. I used to say, hey, if you've got your foot angled towards that back corner, I don't think you get your knee around. I don't think it works, and I had a bunch of people give me some grief about it. And I got in a back and forth with Dwight Stones on it. And we just talked the technical side of it, which was cool. And then I ended up watching, I don't know if you guys have seen Anika McPherson. She's 37 or 8 now, former #1 for the US, 5'4" tall, who has jumped 2 meters.
Wow. That's crazy.
When she runs at the bar, she literally looks like she's in the NBA or something, running right at the basket. Like it's not much of a curve. If it is, it's maybe, I'm going to say maybe 7 or 8 feet, but it might be less. Okay.
Wow.
When you see the video, she's running right down a lane line indoors. And then she comes over to the standard, and it doesn't look like she comes over more than 4 or 5 feet to me, tops. And her foot plant angle it's not at 90 degrees straight ahead, but it's not 45 either. It's like 60 or 70. Like she might as well be running straight at it, and then whips that knee around and goes up and gets all kinds of air and rotation and everything else. And I'm just like, well, that just blows all of my stuff out of the water. Everything that I ever thought about running.
There's always an anomaly.
Yeah. Well, the thing is she's 5'4" and she's super fast and light, right? So I don't think someone bigger with, other frame stuff would be able to do it. But, that's the beautiful thing about the high jump is that there are definitely more than a few ways to get it done.
Yeah.
I saw a video the other day of a guy with a straight-legged knee drive, which I haven't seen for a long time, but a 7.3 3/4 guy, just drove the leg up straight. Like
Romaine Beckford does that.
Yeah, almost like a right. And then I never thought I'd see anybody with a double leg hip punch like Javon, and I never thought I'd see anybody with that double hitch kick in the air like he's long jumping,
right?
Oklahoma, right? So, yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, these look like really good jumps.
If 2 or 3 videos over, maybe 3, is a 7-foot jump at UGA we were practicing.
I think it's this one.
Little wiggle. Looks pretty excied. Yep.
Yeah.
That was
7 foot.
That one was 7 foot. I brought the camera.
He takes the camera over to show it.
As you should. Well, the cool thing about it is it just looks like, like you said, you just got started on this trek, and you can, my advice would be every time you PR, do it by 1 centimeter. Just keep going up one at a time and enjoy every single one of them. I remember, God, for some reason out here in California, we always went up in 5 centimeter increments. So it was like, and we didn't do the odds so-called, right? So it was always 6'2", 6'4", 6'6", 6'8". Every once in a while you'd go somewhere else and they would, have a different metric in there or something, but it seems like there's a lot of in between, and that's great. I do remember it gets harder and harder to have a day where you jump 2 PRs, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Not impossible, but all right, where's the button? How did I lose it? I lose my arrow.
The bottom right.
Bottom right. Oh yeah, I made it bigger. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right, now we got
some
step ups. I like these. Yes. Yes.
That's
And
the off leg.
yeah, I like getting the knee up. You know what? I really like working the other side. And this is just throw this out to you guys as an idea, but my little guru was Baru Elias. He was a Romanian coach at Long Beach City College. And there was one day that I was jumping and I was just dead. My left leg was dead. And he just literally, he looks at me and he goes, "Oh, your left leg's, go jump, you jump other side." And I'm like, "What are you talking about, Elias?" He's like, "Other leg, you go jump your other leg." I'm like, I've never done this before. And I was griping and moaning and complaining because it was outside the normal, right? And I'm just like, this is pointless. And I think I could jump 5'3" or something. And I'm a 7'3" jumper at this time. And I'm like, I just whined and complained and did it. And then a couple weeks later, after doing that for a few times here and there, when my left leg was too tired or whatever, and we were trying to get technical work done, we would jump off the weak leg. And then I went to a meet and was an all comers meet, and it was an all day all comers, and it took all day. And the bar started at like 3.6 or something. And it was, even though it was going up in 3-inch increments, it took a long time. And I said, you know what? I'll jump off my weak leg first. And I jumped 3.6, 3.9, 4 feet, and I just kept going. And I ended up jumping 6.6 off my weak leg, and then flipping sides and jumping 6.9, 7. And I was like, and I really think it helped. There's something about seeing things from the other side every once in a while, where it's almost like training the other side of your brain to do something that it doesn't normally do, or, maybe you pick up something technical from that side that you wouldn't, I don't know, but I'm a big believer in it. I do that. I like making people run backwards every once in a while, for those reasons. Excuse me. Oh, and I like that sequence. Let's see that again. Big, smaller, smaller, bank. All right. Very creative. Lots of space. Lots of those boxes. Lots of air. I like the load up. For you younger jumpers out there, watch as Jacob is reaching back with both arms. This looks like you should have been a volleyball player, because you're getting a reach back double arm. All you got to do is go up and swing, and you can be a hitter or even a blocker.
He's
Awesome.
actually a very good volleyball player as well.
I would have
I do
would
play
have been willing
volleyball a
to
little
guess.
bit.
Yeah, I would have been willing to guess that. All right, similar drill. And we've got, oh, I like these too. Yes. Nice. Both arms. All right, drive them up higher overhead. That's all I would say. I would be like, get them up over your head. All right, and knees. Awesome. Yeah, I see these all the time. There's the running style version. Any problem with your shins doing those?
None at all. I've never had shin splints or anything of the sort. Just jumper's knee.
Yeah, yeah, I get that too. All right, off the bot, standing, boom, nice. You guys have done a lot of good work. You're fortunate now. Jason, how long have you been coaching and doing all that stuff?
So coaching track, I started when he started track.
Right.
And over the past 12 months, I've put in probably close to 200 hours. I've gotten certified with 4 different organizations and have about, I don't even know, 12 different coaching certificates now with GHSA, which is here in Georgia, our high school association, NFHS, AAU, USATF, all of those.
Yep.
And we've really put a ton of study into it. And then we've taken kids that have never really done well to state this year with the school. And some of them medaled, some of them got, top 8 All-American.
Right.
But I coached basketball a long time. I've done some baseball coaching and things like that as well, soccer. But I started coaching track when he started getting interested in it.
A lot of these are the same.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this is like I can tell when someone's either, doing something that they think they should do or whatever. And there isn't one thing that you're doing here that I'm like going, okay, that doesn't make any sense. So
But there's a lot of things that I've taken from some of the other sports that I have coached, mainly basketball, we do a lot of plyo when I coach basketball because I'm real big on jumping. That was my thing. And so we take a lot of the plyos that we did in that, and we incorporate it in. When we do weights, there's a portion that we use to build strength, and it's deeper movements and so forth. But the majority of what we do in the weight room is all explosive movements.
Yes.
If we can't explode with it, it's too heavy.
Yeah.
And
This was borderline.
yeah, this one's borderline. This is more of a strength building phase on this.
This was still preseason.
Yeah, but once we're anywhere close to season or in season, everything's explosive.
Quarters and less, yeah.
Quarters, yeah.
Lesser jumps.
This was about a half squat or so.
Sure. Well, for you, especially when you get those long legs and you get down to 90 degrees, that's a good squat.
Yeah.
That was 405.
That's good. That's very good. I'm kind of getting away from back squats and front squats anymore just because I don't like loading the spine that much. I do like those deadlifts. I think deadlifts are just about as good for the most part. And you can do jumping deadlifts with those hex bars and all that.
Yeah.
This is a little bit of Olympic lifting.
Clean and jerk, nice. You should look at Fabian's stuff, man. That kid, tell you what. But you're on the track. You could be his younger brother. You're a little bit shorter than he is. He's 6'9". Nice. I like those a lot.
And some of the stuff we did was a little different than just high jumpers because he was also sprinting.
Right.
So we incorporated a few extra things in there to help with some of that as well.
You know, I don't see that as exclusive. To me, I think, you know, at the highest levels, some of the best jumpers that I've seen are just really fast. You know, Barshim's fast. All the single armors that are jumping 7'8" or higher tend to be pretty fast, you know.
Absolutely.
Tall.
I think good sprinters are good jumpers and vice versa. Good jumpers are typically decent sprinters.
You need to have it. I mean, I always wished I was faster. I was like Tom Brady at the combine kind of feel. Like I had a five flat 40 my junior year, and the other football players were like, I thought you did track, you know, and I'm like, I'm a jumper, man. And then, you know, I think I got it down to about a 4.7 at UCLA, but still, you know, I didn't have any real fast. I did get faster once I started squatting a lot more weight, but yeah, I do see an increase in speed and explosive pop with, you know, with that squat power for sure. Yeah, hang cleans.
There it is.
Just an idea. I'm throwing out that split text.
Oh yeah, you may want to hit the mute on them.
The sound's back on the videos.
Hear that? Okay, yeah. Let's do this.
There you go.
Awesome.
This was 6'4" short approach.
Nice. And this is you just checking out the facilities, or was this for a meet?
So
we live about 25 minutes from the track. And so because our school doesn't have facilities, we go to UGA to practice high jump.
Okay. And they let you practice there. That's nice of them.
It's actually open to the public certain times. So even before he was recruited by them, that's where we practice high jump.
That's nice. Yeah, that would never happen down here. California is like, stay away from us. You could infect us with COVID. So,
this was 6'10".
Nice. Flash gather, knee drive and ride. You're not really trying to pop your hips or throw your head back that hard. Yeah, well, I'll take it back. That time you did. It's the first time I've seen that head, and it's going down, which is good. So you waited till you were past the vertical plane of the bar. Very nice.
This was right before the start of my senior season.
And then you guys did or did not compete indoors?
Did not compete indoors. This is the same jump, but different view.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, and here for this height, I would say this is almost borderline too close.
It was kind of close.
It was.
You can tell it's my pet peeve. So right here, you can see the arms coming up over the head. The knee drive is going back towards the curve. That's one of the biggest things I keep trying to show people. Even Sotomayor, though, at 245, he doesn't get all the way around. So he kind of goes over a little bit cockeyed, you know. But that knee drive back into the curve is one of the huge elements for a high jumper. So if you can't get that, I think it's hard to keep yourself from washing in. And then, yeah, that head goes back. Pretty good, pretty good. I like to get the head and the feet on the same level if I can with the big arch. And if you can hold just to where your head's lower than your feet, then you just rotate through like crazy. Really hard to do, but it's good work if you can do it. All right, where else are we? And more stuff. Nice. 2-footed with a turn.
I forgot how high that was. It was decently high though. These are all straight-legged jumps, and that is 45 inches.
Right, right. Yeah, I have one of the first let me get out of here. Where are we? We're here. All right.
His 6'10 1/4" from this season is like a couple of videos after that.
Okay, let's go there. Let's go there. I saw a jump from a friend of mine now, Aaron Washa, one of the first guys that I followed on Instagram, who did a 71-inch box jump. Was this it? Was this the 6'10"?
No,
that was building up to it.
That was opening height. I think that was 6'2", and then this is 6'4".
Easy.
This should be 6'8".
9-step approach. So I'm noticing your foot is pointed a little bit towards the back corner. So that's going to help that wobble. Definitely. All right. I'm changing my mind on that as we speak. It keeps changing. Okay.
No, this was the second attempt at 6'10 1/4".
Okay. Not a bad attempt.
Yeah, jumped a little early.
And then this was the final attempt at 6'10 1/4".
Sometimes it's all about timing. You know, you got to learn how to wait before you do certain things.
Oh, nope, I lied. It was not that one either.
That one. It's got to be a minute in there somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh no, that was 7 foot. Those three
Yeah, I
were
think they're out of
7
order a
foot.
little bit.
One of the ones above or back was 6'10 1/4. One of the makes.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's another one. This could be 7 again, or
Oh no, that may have been. Yeah, that was. That wasn't the 6'10 1/4.
I know this one is from this view.
oh man, you gotta hate that. It didn't look like you touched it at all.
Yeah.
Oh, were the pits touching the standards or something? That's like you didn't.
So that particular school, their pit didn't have a topper on it, so you would fall in between the mats. The standards were actually broke. I had to cram a water bottle in there so it would stay up. I mean, it was kind of rough.
Good rotation. Yeah, you could see you looking. You're like, I don't like these. You were checking that out on the way down. Make sure you didn't go in the cracks.
Oh yeah.
You kind of bracing. That's not comfortable. I know how that is. Oh, tons of air on that.
That was opening bars up a little bit. 6'4", 6'2", 6'4".
Getting a little darker, a little later.
Ooh. That was it from another view. I thought I had it.
Place though, looks like the same pits, like you're.
Yeah, same
place, different angle.
Racing for impact. Yeah, you can see it.
That was 6'10 1/4".
Ooh, pretty clean. So these are the 7-footers. We're back somewhere earlier in the sequence.
I think they're out of order.
That's the other view of the 6'10".
Oh, this is 6'10 1/4 right here. So they were out of order a little bit. This is the 6'10 1/4 make.
Ooh, easy too. Yeah, it's not fair. It looks lower for you. The bars look lower. I don't know what it is. Just because you're 6'5" or 6. Okay.
Well, there'll be people online sometime that comment, there's no way that's 6'10" or 6'6", whatever. They said, not unless you're 6'5", and he's like, I am.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, let's go. Let's stop. We did that already. So, well, hey, that's quite a body of work, Jacob, in a short time for a 12-month span. It seems like you've just been gifted by God with some amazing abilities, and
Absolutely.
you've done nothing but work hard and glorify with that. That's awesome, dude. You're cranking. Three-time state champ, going into University of Georgia. No pressure, I'm sure. Is it a full ride, or are they waiting to give you a full ride?
So the way everything's set up, they made it to where I didn't have to pay anything, but it's technically not a full ride.
Right.
Athletic.
Coming from different places.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's hard. Track and field. This is dating myself. So back in 1983, I'm a freshman coming into UCLA, 82, actually, the fall of 82. So 82, 83. But there was, for a 70-man track team, they had 12 scholarships at the
It's
time.
still 12.
And I thought they actually cut it back for a while. If they brought it back up to 12, great. But there was very few people that I knew that were getting full rides.
Yeah.
One was
So
Steve.
here in Georgia, we have something called the Hope Scholarship. So if your GPA is a certain number, it covers your tuition. So he's a good student. So his tuition is covered. And then between scholarship and the other money that's included, he doesn't have to pay anything to go, but part of it's covered through a Hope Scholarship. The rest of it is covered through athletics.
Okay. That's still awesome. I didn't get a dime until, and I wasn't a three-time state champ. So, or two different years and 3 or 4 times. So, I jumped 210 once and won CIF and then went to state and came in like 6th or 9th or something. And I could not jump 2 days in a row. So, that was a tough part for me, but it didn't really matter. When I got there, I shake the coach's hand and I said, "What does it take to get on a scholarship?" And he goes, he just left. I'm like, oh, no, really. And he looked at me kind of, I don't know that they were taking me seriously, even though I was a walk-on, because when I came in, I was number 7 on the depth chart. They had, like I said, a 7'7", 7'6", and then a bunch of other guys, 6'10", 6'11", like me. And I'm like, yeah, well, how much does it take? And he said 7'2", and we'll talk. And so my freshman year was terrible. And then my sophomore year, I jumped 7'2". And the next day I was sitting in his office going,
Absolutely.
and he goes, "So you want some money?" And I said, "Yes, sir, coach. I would like that very much." And it wasn't earth shaking. It wasn't a full ride or anything like that, because they didn't have those to go around. Like I said, the guys like you might have been able to pull that off. A friend of mine, Steve Curho, who won the high and the low hurdles at the state meet, both, and set a national record in the lows. He was a guy, he negotiated his own deal and they gave him a full ride. So, coming in.
There were other schools that offered full rides even without the academic scholarship. But after he visited Georgia, and when you combine it with the academic scholarship and didn't have to pay, it was a no-brainer.
And you're in your home state and you're at Georgia.
Yeah, and he's less than 30 minutes from home. So
yeah. And it's not like you've never made that trip before. So
right.
yeah, awesome. Well, hey, Jacob, I want to thank you so much for being forgiving with my time management skills today. I was terrible, but thanks for bailing me out. And you've got yourself a big fan. I cannot wait to see what happens with you and your career. Be keeping my eye out for you. I know we're in the SEC, and you're going to have. They still don't have indoors. You're saying you're not going to be competing indoors in the fall, right?
I will be competing indoor, but Georgia is building an indoor track
Okay, so
my junior year. Yeah.
you'll do like we do out here when we do our indoor qualifying. We do it outdoors because you don't have any indoor facilities in California. Why would you need it unless it's pouring rain? Which even then they're all weather tracks, right? So
The closest indoor facility to us would be Clemson, and they're about an hour and a half, hour and 40 away.
Yeah. The one thing that I think is kind of funny about all that, as a quick aside, to those of you listening, if you're interested in the whole indoor thing now, there are places back east that it makes complete sense, because at a certain time of the year, outdoors not an option, right? You got to have an indoor facility. Out here on the coast, that's obviously not the case. Even in the fall, sometimes in November, it'll be sunny and 85 degrees. So we don't need the indoor facility. But when you train for it, like we said, out here, I go to an outdoor meet to get an indoor thing. When you go to an indoor meet for your first time, it's stunning how small everything is. They've crunched everything together. You've got tight tracks with these high bendy turns, and they're running on wood. And the first time I've only jumped twice indoors, and I hated it both times. I don't even know why I went back the second time. It was almost like I tried to get back there and I did, and I was like, I still hate this 4 years later. But it was like jumping indoors off wood in spikes. And I hated every part of it, and all I had ever heard was, oh, it's fun. If you get the right place, they check the floors so that they find a kind of a bouncy spot on the floors, and they put the standards in the right place. And, some of those places will have wood covered with tartan. Heard about that. Some of the guys said that, guys that I competed with said, yeah, we went and jumped in Japan, and they would, they had these wood floors like you would get. One of the best wood floors I ever jumped on was at Pauley Pavilion. I was down there playing a pickup basketball game, and someone threw me a breakaway, and I caught it and took 3 running steps and took it up. And I was like, whoa. I mean, it was like nice floor, right? I was just like, oh, this is really nice. So I would have been happy to try that. I'm actually trying to put together an indoor meet out here in California on a basketball court where everybody can just jump in high tops and just have the pits and everything else, and just go, hey, let's, you don't need spikes, you don't need wood. Let's just get some highly varnished floors, because there's incredible athletes doing that stuff all the time. We call them basketball players. So why can't we just jump up and, land on the pit? So it's a mini obsession with me. So if I ever get that put together, I'll get you an invite letter. And if we can get it past your coaches, we'll sneak you out here to the coast and have you jump 7-2 or something indoors. Just real quickly while we're headed up, I'm sure you guys are fans. You've been keeping track. Who are your favorite guys jumping here in the U.S., and who do you think is going to make the U.S. Olympic team? They're coming up on Thursday, and then a final on Sunday. You guys got anybody you're picking on DraftKings out there?
My personal favorite is Dontavius Hill. He's a real nice guy, and I've trained with him before, and so I'm rooting for him.
Did you see any of his jumps that he took at 7-8 last week?
I did.
Once he posted? Yeah, we talked about that on the podcast just at the end of last week. And he said he didn't even open until 2:33, and that was, or 2:34, I think. And that was a record. If he'd have made it, that was a record for the highest opening height ever. So, and he took a couple good jumps at it. I was pretty blown away because he had just jumped 7.5 for the first time, a little bit before. So I'd love to see Dontavius make it. Like you said, really nice young man, does a lot of things, giving back, to the jump and to the community. I haven't seen much out of the other guys, Javon and those guys. I know they can do it, obviously. Javon's done it before. And there does seem to be a lot of young American jumpers right now that are a lot of 7.4, 5 range.
I would like to see Scotty Vines make it. That would be interesting. He just graduated high school as well with me. I just jumped with him 2 weeks ago.
What is he jumped?
7.4.5.
Really? In high school? Which state?
Colorado. Or it may have been 7.4.25.
Okay. Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah, twice.
Was it at altitude?
It was in Colorado, so.
And then he also, no, one of them was in Texas, and then one of them was in Colorado.
Yeah. One was the Texas relays.
Yeah, he did 7.4.25 at the Texas relays.
Amazing. Okay. Someone I need to look up, obviously. And then he's going to the trials, right?
Yes, he is.
7.4.25. You don't have to.
He actually won the U20s. He won the Nike because it's there with the U20s. So he won U20s and Nike in the same week. And then he's competing Thursday for the Olympic trials.
Awesome. Yeah.
Super nice guy as well.
Well, as you may or may not know, I got a good lengthy discussion with Dontavius so he could tell me, because that was one of my dreams. I wanted to go to the Olympic trials. I didn't really have dreams, I think, of even making it. I just wanted to go once. That would have been good for me. But I was like, okay, so you're going. How does it work? Like, tell me everything. So he's like, well, they're going to be 24 guys, and they'll cut the field in half the first day. So whatever they got to do that, and then, come back, and they do get a couple of days off, which is nice. I would have loved that. And 2 days off, and they come back Sunday and jump it out and see who the top 3 are. But then now it's more complex than it used to be. Like, it used to be just top 3 go. Now it's like, there's a couple qualifiers in there, but for the most part, it's probably going to be those top 3
Yeah.
They still need to get the Olympic qualifier. So you could conceivably, I forget what he said. He told me he's pretty much in if he comes in third. I don't know that if he has to jump the Olympic qualifier or not. I can't remember. There's too many rules.
Yeah, it's the same with the running. It makes it a whole lot easier if you've already done the Olympic
Right.
standard. If not, then there is some discussion about it, but most of the time it's still top three.
Yeah. I mean, they could say, this other guy's got a better record than you, even though you outperformed him, right? And we want to send him as our number three, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And sometimes, getting that alternate spot would be a great thing. I have a friend, Leo Williams, who was on the 84 team. He jumped with Doug Nordquist, and he was the alternate. And the guy that was in the third spot, Milton Good, hurt himself at the trials. And so I remember getting in that discussion with Leo before, because he's still carrying a little grudge after all this time, saying he wasn't really that healthy and he didn't compete real well at the Olympics. And he was like, it would have been nice to be able to go, since I was fully healthy and ready to roll.
Yeah.
That's how that goes sometimes. So,
the Olympic standard right now is listed at 7.7 3/4, which is why he jumped 7.8 at that last meet.
Yeah. Twofold. Yeah. He was weird because I noticed other times, I don't know if you guys seen that, but when he posts, I've seen these meets where he opens at like 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", 11, he's like 7 feet. And I'm like, this kid's just jumping his way along. He's 7'3". I'm like, wow, that's a lot of jumps to get there. And then we kind of laughed about it. I said, you totally switch styles. You just
7.5.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. So yeah, it's he's got a lot of talent. I know he's working real hard. He's training in Georgia now, right? Isn't that
right?
Yeah,
he's probably 30-40 minutes from where we live. So that's why we went and trained with him when he was here in town.
Absolutely.
He was at the state meet we were at and was super nice to Jacob and gives him feedback on stuff all the time. Just a super nice guy.
Yeah, quality guy. The other guy I'm going to recommend you guys get in touch with as you continue your career, Jacob, is talk with Jeremy Fisher out here in California, Chula Vista. You're not going to find a better guy that knows what's going on. He's going to know all the stuff that you're going through and know all those challenges. He probably become more valuable to you after you graduate, because then you get a lot of transition between, do I get a job? Do I get married? Do I get married and get a job? Do I continue to train? That kind of stuff. And that's, the Chula Vista Training Center used to be the Olympic Training Center until USATF pulled their money. So now he's kind of running it with, some other helps here and there, but it's an amazing training facility. And then Jeremy really knows his stuff. He jumped 7'6" and was, gone to the trials and all that kind of stuff. So he's a short little guy too. I can make I think I want to say Jeremy's only 5'9" or 10, but he jumped 7'6", jumped 7'4" in high school. So he knows his jumps. He's put people on the podiums at the Olympics and at the U.S. Olympic trials and all that. So another good guy to be in touch with. But hey, really appreciate your guys' time. Thanks for sharing your video and your insights. And again, can't wait to see what you do. And please keep me in the loop, send videos. Shamelessly promote. I don't know how it all works once you're officially at the school and whether they, I don't know. I have had guys do podcasts. I've also had other coaches say no, so I don't know how that all works, but whatever works. I'm all about, promoting the sport because I love watching it. I like to see it do better. I think this is our highlight here. Every 4 years we get the front stage for a while. I'd like to see it pick up in the other years as well, which is something we're happening for. So, all right, sir.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you guys for taking the time. I know it's getting late there. So God bless, and we will check in with you soon. Enjoy the trials and go Team Dontavius.
That's right. Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right, you too. Thanks. All right, that's going to do it for us here on another episode of Raise the Bar. We were very lucky to speak with young Jacob Carruthers, who is just getting ready to embark on his brand new career at the University of Georgia. He is a 3-time state champion this year and a 1-time state champion last year, who is still really in his first couple of years of competition. going into a great university with great facilities and some good training partners. He's already done some training with Dontavius Hill, and which is awesome. And we're just looking forward to great things from him in the future. Seems like a very level-headed young man. He's a good student and a good athlete, and he's got a great place to train. So love to see great things happen for Jacob as we get ready to watch the other young Bucks here in the U.S. Vie for a place on the Olympic team. There's got to be some people looking at Javon Harrison as a returner, and Vernon Turner as one of the great young jumpers here in the U.S. Jumped 7.6 in high school and has jumped 7.7 already at the University of Oklahoma. Then we've got some other guys like Dontavius, just saw him jump 7.5, and he's also taken some pretty impressive jumps at 233 and 234 just recently. So should be an exciting week in the U.S. here as we pick our members of the Olympic team. And the high jump is a great high profile event. It'll be on Thursday. And then this following, so Thursday, June 27th will be the prelim where they cut the field from 24 to 12. And then they will all jump again on Sunday and see who makes the team. So stay tuned on that. It should be on Peacock or NBC or both. And until next time, you've been talking with or listening to me talk here on Raise the Bar. I'm Troy Haines, former UCLA high jumper and longtime coach, and now just a big fan this week for the U.S. Olympic trials. So until next time, we'll see you here again on Raise the Bar.